Welcome back to An Acquired Taste. Over the last couple of weeks, you see a lot of posts on social media about the year of 2024 and what happened, and on places like Instagram or Facebook, it's, family pictures and trips and things that happened in 2024 on places like LinkedIn or Twitter or Threads, or now I guess Blue Sky. Some professional posts, usually by founders or, CEOs of companies or presidents of small companies, talking about how great 2024 was and everything that got accomplished and how proud they are of their team and where they are as a company and how much they're looking forward to 2025. Well, this episode of An Acquired Taste isn't that kind of episode. 2024 for me, professionally and a little bit personally, was pretty mediocre. I wasn't very good in 2024. In this episode, I'm going to be very honest and candid about that. Starting personally, because I think that influences your performance as a professional. I don't know how you would avoid that. I lost my father-in-law. I lost a congregation member at my church to a tragic accident. I watched a friend lose his brother who took his own life. And my kids lost a friend in a tragic car accident. And that all happened in the time frame from October to basically Christmas Day. Pretty dismal, pretty awful. I don't know any other way to put it than it's just not something you want to live through or have those that you care about live through. And then to top it all off, we had to put down our rescue dog, Abby, who we had since she was a puppy, loved her dearly, and she was just too sick to continue. It was a lot. Literally lost a lot in 2024. And so I guess I need to be fair that I was just ready for 2024 to be over. And as of today, I'm recording this on the 3rd of January. I'm very happy to have 2024 in the rearview mirror. But professionally speaking, I want to key in on my takeaways from 2024 and why I just don't think I was very good in 2024. And there were some good things that happened. And we had some accomplishments, for me personally, for our company. But if I'm being honest, I just didn't feel like I overachieved by any definition of the term. Some of that or some of those feelings are born from frustration. I tried some new things, tried to spin up new opportunities for our company, branch out, and none of those really worked. Truthfully, kind of a goose egg. It was like 0 for 3. All of these things were difficult. They had kind of a small window of potential success or opportunity for success, but getting blanked isn't much fun. I don't care who you are. 0 for 3 just kind of stinks, statistically, mentally, spiritually, professionally. And our business at Red Hawk is kind of in a transition period, both from a leadership perspective and in market position. The market's changing around us, and we're going to have to respond to that. Shifting sands, all that kind of stuff. It's typical business things, but I want to be real honest that those are things that happen when you're building stuff, when you're trying new things, when you're innovating. Hopefully, we're innovating, and sometimes things, just don't work out. Some years are better than others. Some are flat out bad. 2024 wasn't really either of those, kind of more somewhere in between those two ends of the spectrum. And I'm not, this isn't about sympathy. I'm not trying to have people feel badly for me or send me encouraging text messages or comments or anything like that. I just want to be really honest. This is what happens. I see a lot of kind of self-congratulatory posts, and those are fantastic. But there's another end of the spectrum, if we're being honest with each other and ourselves, that I think we also have to address. And for me, 2024 just wasn't that great. I didn't do as well as I wanted to do in 2024. I do think part of the struggle with all of this for me is that the year didn't end up on either one of those spectrums. It wasn't terrible and it wasn't fantastic. It was somewhere in between. And when things are really bad or when things are really good, it's pretty easy to identify what makes them good or bad. When there's somewhere in between, that feels harder to diagnose. And I think for people who consider themselves ambitious, I consider myself ambitious. I at least like to think I'm ambitious. I feel like I act or behave ambitiously. I think people like that, they want to win big or they want to fail miserably. And I know that may sound funny, but like if you're going to fail miserably because you tried to do something really, really hard, damn near impossible, and you failed, you can come to grips with that as an ambitious person, right? I knew this was going to be hard. I knew I may not achieve it, but I progressed. I learned stuff. I got better, right? What's the old saying? I either win or I learn. I think ambitious people have that mindset. And so I think that that's helpful as they try to move forward. But 2024 for me just felt like a maintenance year, kind of a placeholder. Again, nothing professionally terrible happened, but nothing truly outstanding happened either. Malaise, it was average. I think in my kids' lexicon 2 or 3 years ago, they would have called it mid. And I was talking to someone the week before Christmas, and they were recounting their year with some enthusiasm, and I didn't really think much about the conversation until a couple of weeks later when I started looking at my own calendar for January. And for whatever reason, I have no idea why, I started to think about this. 2024 wasn't all that great. 2024 was just kind of average. And I was disappointed in myself. I was disappointed in my performance. I was disappointed kind of in my output. But when I started reflecting on that, I realized that my year actually was a lot like that person's recounting of the last 12 months. The difference was I felt frustrated and disappointed by similar kind of outcomes that made them excited and made them feel like they had achieved some great things in 2024. So immediately I go, what the hell is wrong with me? If they had a good year and they're excited about it, and I look at it and I go, well, I probably had about the same kind of year and I feel badly about it. What's wrong with me? It ended up being really helpful because I was able to take that context and think about it a little bit differently. More specifically, what I want to do to change, what I want to do differently, how did 2024 not become what I wanted it to be, or I didn't end up being where I wanted to be professionally. And I came up with a couple of things. So here's where I landed. I think it's okay to be disappointed in yourself. That it's okay to be disappointed in your output or your professional performance when you acknowledge you're capable of more. I think that's where the disappointment lies, and that's where the disappointment can be healthy, is acknowledging this is where I ended up, this is where I could have been, and that gap is likely self-inflicted because I was capable of doing more. So don't hide from your ambition, but do acknowledge that it's going to change the lens through which you see success. It's just going to feel differently to you than it does to other people. Acknowledge that, be okay with it, but understand that that's how you feel. Work harder. I know that's not popular in today's work-life balance, kind of culture around work, but I could have done more. I could have worked harder. I could have put in more hours. I certainly could have been more intentional in the work that I was doing, really focusing on that work, cutting out some of the other stuff. My opportunity costs were probably too high. I was probably spending my time on things that didn't have huge value, and I didn't check myself on that. I just kind of ran with it and followed whatever it was in that moment that seemed important. even really when it wasn't. I'm going to get back to where I know I need to be. So that means refocusing a bit, but leave the door cracked open for serendipity. I don't ever want to exclude an opportunity or entertain or not entertain an opportunity because I'm so focused on this thing that I'm worried that I have this opportunity cost. I think that just comes with it. You're going to have some shrinkage as far as your time and the value of your time. And I'll still be okay with that, but I do want to focus on those things that I know are important to me and to my business and to what success looks like in my set of circumstances. I'm going to stay ambitious. Don't walk away from that. Don't be scared of that. Don't let that be the thing that defeats you because you have this level of ambition and maybe you're not meeting it all the time. Understand that balance, but stay ambitious. I'm going to be focused on consistent output and quality of that output. I'm going to ask myself the question, is this my best work? Is this enough output? Am I cruising? Am I just maintaining? Am I just doing what I have to do? Am I not doing the things I should do? Am I not doing the things that really push me forward and push my business forward? I'm going to learn more about anything that makes me better at what I do. So I'm not talking about the next great novel. I'm not talking about murder mysteries. I'm talking about things that make me look better, or things that make me, well, it would be nice if I looked better, but things that make me more professional, more capable. Very specific example. I want to be a better storyteller. I don't think I'm a very good storyteller. I think I'm an okay storyteller. I think I'm a good technical writer, but I'm not a very good storyteller. So I'm going to really work at getting better on that. So I've started reading up on that. I've started researching what makes good storytelling. Why is it important? How can I apply that? But I started to realize just in the first, 35 pages of reading the book that I'm reading right now, learning is incredibly empowering and very directional, especially when you're not really sure what your next step is or where you're going to go from here. Learning has a way of unlocking your thought process, maybe your intentions in a way that I forgot about, certainly in 2024 and maybe longer than that. And then lastly, remember the feeling of how deflating this was to sit in late December, early January and go, I really wasn't very good in 2024. I wasn't very capable. I wasn't proficient. I probably wasn't actually that ambitious in 2024 when you get right down to it. And that's not a great feeling. So maybe the avoidance of the feeling if I were to do this again in 2025, hopefully, or 2026, that I could look back and go, I don't want to feel in January 2026 what I felt like in January 2025. So this is me being honest with you and saying I wasn't great in 2024. I could have done more. I could have had more success. I think there were things within my control that I didn't control. This is part of what I think everybody should do, being honest with themselves to say, here's where I fell down. Here's where I wasn't my best. And then make those adjustments and move forward. Stay ambitious, get focused, look forward, understanding what was behind you, and go out there and be better in 2025 and 2026 than you were in 2023, 2024. So I look forward to the comments. If any of you else had kind of a mid 2024, love to hear from you. If you had a great 2024, equally excited for you. Let's make 2025 fantastic. I wish you all the best and health in 2025 and in the year coming up. Hope you keep listening to the podcast or checking out the webcast. Like, comment, and subscribe. Thanks very much. See you next time.